you'd still take advances.
Well, so I took advances on my past books. I considered profit share agreements. And actually, when I was beginning to consider rebooting, dusting off and rebooting that book that I'd had on the back shelf, I spoke with a number of larger publishers who, as humans, I like a lot. And they, on the phone, were very enthusiastic about doing some type of very generous profit share agreement. And then they sent me the contracts, and there was so much Hollywood accounting that I found it to be insulting. I'm like, all right, so there's this X percentage double-digit distribution fee, and then there's a promotional fee that is in perpetuity, even though they're not going to do very much promotion, and maybe that's for 2 to 4 weeks if they do any, but then they're going to move on to their new roster. And I just found the deal structures so generally insulting that if I ran the math, I realized this is not that much better than the traditional deals that I've been selling, but I'm foregoing the advance, not because I don't have confidence in the books, but I like having the publishers experience some sunk cost so that they're incentivized with loss aversion.
There is that argument.
But at this point, with the new book, I'm not planning on doing any of that. And the field is wide open to the experimentation that I could do. And I haven't figured it out. I've thought about keeping audio and ebook, although I'll come back to that. I'd love your perspective on this. And then maybe doing a print-only deal, because I do not have, as you do, the sort of facilities. I'm almost perfectly happy to farm that out with an appropriately spec'd agreement. The deal terms need to make sense. But then there are even arguments for me to say license with a reversion of rights. A friend of mine, Hugh Howey.
Yep, I know Hugh.
Is so smart with this. But as you noted before, like I used to have an audiobook club with Audible. This was back in the day with ACX when you could get up to like 75% royalties.
Before they killed that.
Yeah. And I understand, like as a business, as you amass more and more critical mass in terms of control of a market, you can then change your compensation scheme with royalties. But as soon as it got to the point where it's like, okay, I'm going to max out at whatever it is, 25, 35, this is no longer worth the time that I would put into it. So I stopped doing it.
Yeah.
So I've thought about keeping audio and ebook. I'm still considering it. But the fact of the matter is, it seems like larger publishers have negotiated superior deal terms. No? Okay, that's the pitch that I keep getting, which is even if you get a lower percentage of the total, in absolute dollars, you're still going to make more because blah, 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 blah. So this is all very current for me, but I don't care about advance at this point in my life.
So what they're saying on audiobooks has some truth.
Yeah.
Not true on ebooks.
Yeah.
So I'll just say you there, though. There is one thing that the New York publishers get away with in ebooks that you can't get on your own. Even I have not been able to fight them down on this.
Yeah.
They will let the New York publishers charge more than $10.
Yeah.
And so there is that.
This is on ebook.
On ebooks.
Yeah.
On audio, so this can get technical and nerdy.
Yeah, okay. Let's do it. I like technical and nerdy.
So on ebooks, basically the publisher is getting 70% of price. It's $10, they're getting $7 sent to them. As an indie author, is doing it yourself, you will get $7, but they will take out a tiny distribution fee at Amazon, which is super annoying. If you have a lot of artwork, it can get higher. Usually it's only like 10, 15 cents. But they will take that out where they don't for the New York publishers. So that's one of the big differences. The other thing is they'll let the New York publisher charge $14.99 for their book. They will only let charge 10. If you go over 10, they'll only give you a 20% instead of a 70% royalty. They really need to bend that or break that.
They want to keep you between, what is it, $2.99 and $9.99?
Yep.
Yeah.
If your book is priced at $9.99, as an ebook, there is almost no incentive to go to New York. Audiobooks, New York has negotiated all of their payments from Audible based on cover price of the book. So they can change the cover price of the book and get different things going on. But almost everything on Audible sells by credit. And getting out of the publishers how much they get off of a credit is like pulling teeth. Getting out of Audible how much you earn off of a credit is like pulling teeth, because in their sense, and this is the big problem with audiobooks, I don't like that you are the customer of Audible, not the customer of the authors. Mm-hmm. And Audible's a great company, don't get me wrong. They made huge advances in audiobook distribution, readability. They've improved that market quite a bit. Mm-hmm. They are a net positive for everyone. But they control so much of the market that they are able to do some of these practices that we talked about. But beyond that, people sign up for a subscription fee. Mm-hmm. This is partially Apple's fault, Apple and Google, because if you buy an audiobook through Audible's app, Google and Apple want to take 30% of that. Mm-hmm. And the publishers don't want to do that. 30% is egregious. It's insane. Mm-hmm. There's all sorts of lawsuits going on that, them taking that much. But because of that, they do the subscription service. So you sign up for the subscription on their website. Google or Apple get none. You get a credit every month. You can spend a credit. None of that credit goes because it's by credit. But then that turns all the audience into subscribers to Audible. Mm-hmm. So if Audible stops carrying a book, people just stop buying it. Once again, he who controls the spice, he who controls the platform, controls everything, which means that they get to say, well, it's a credit. What is a credit? Well, a credit is divided this way. And we give out this many free books as part of the promotions with credits. And so that plays into it. And some of the credits go for books like this. And so they have this huge spreadsheet that, to their credit, I'm saying credit too much, they have started being more open with how that spreadsheet works for us. And we can plug in the numbers and see. They only started doing that in the last year as we pushed them. But it turns out that there's all this shenanigans. They get $15. And after all our work and things, we get on average like $4 out of that 15.
Yeah.
The publishers do have something where they're getting a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I earn more this way than I do with the publishers, even though the publishers can make up for it a little bit by having certain weird deals on what they get paid. At the end of the day, I really wish we could push audiobooks into that transparent, you get 70% of that $15 is what should go to the author. Or certain percentage of that to the author, certain percent to the reader. Narrators don't get royalties, which is kind of a thing. And I just really wish we could pierce that and make it happen, but we haven't been able to.
So it sounds like, if I'm hearing you correctly, your advice would be to hold on to it, do it yourself.
So it depends. Ebook, yes. I have found that my system that I have, which is a profit share, and we took a sledgehammer to that contract that you got offered and eventually got it to a place where it was good. Mm-hmm. It's really close to a straight up profit share. There's a few little Hollywood accounting things they do, but they have to account them very clearly. And we end up doing, with our profit share, 10 to 20% better than we used to do. As much as 50% better in some cases.
Yeah, that's not trivial.
That's not trivial. I could actually get those actual numbers. I should get them and see. But it's significant what we're making more with the profit share. But my best thing has been Tress. They took a print-only deal. I have ebook and audiobook, and I have a profit share on the print with them. And then the ebook and audiobook. The ebook straight up is better. The audiobook, we make more, but we would make almost the same with the publisher.
And are you just interfacing directly with Amazon platforms for
Amazon and everyone else?
Yep.
Doing my best. Like Amazon would pay us better if we put them only on Amazon, but I refuse. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons the publisher's deal is a little better. Amazon gives them the deal that they give if you're exclusive to Amazon. Mm-hmm. As an indie, they force you to be exclusive to get the good deal. They give that deal to the publishers, but they can be on everything.
Yeah. Tricksy.
It's all so messy, right?
It is messy.
This is all in the weeds. But here's the takeaway. Mm-hmm. The power is in two people's hands right now. It's in the creators and the platform controllers. Mm-hmm. It's not in New York's hand anymore.
Yeah.
And that's in some ways bad because those are good people. I think most creatives in like the audio industry hate their business. Most authors are pretty, like you said, the people are good. Mm-hmm. The contracts, sometimes you have to take a sledgehammer to. But I generally don't mind New York. They generally, I think, try to treat authors well. But in this new world, we control the content. Mm-hmm. And if you can figure out how to control your platform also, then that's king. But you as a content creator, I think, should be looking at the platforms and learning how to manipulate all the different platforms so that you can have the best world you can. So that's where we live right now.